Welcome to this life-changing video. You're not here by accident. You're here because deep inside, you know something isn't right. You've tried to stay motivated. You've tried building good habits. You've watched videos, read quotes, made plans, but still, you're stuck. Still overthinking, still procrastinating, still getting in your own way. And you've started to wonder, is something wrong with me? Why do I sabotage my own success? Why do I know what to do, but still not do it? Let me tell you the truth that nobody taught you. Not in school, not in college, not at home. It's not your willpower. It's not your motivation. It's your brain. Yes, your brain is the problem, but also the solution. Your brain is not lazy. It's not broken. It's doing exactly what it was trained to do. Even if that training came from trauma, toxic people, negative thoughts, social media, repetition of fear and failure, unconscious patterns. You see, your brain runs 95% of your life through the subconscious mind. That means only 5% of your day is controlled by your conscious goals. The rest controlled by your automatic, invisible mental programs. Programs that were written by your past, not your future. So even if you say, I want to wake up early, I want to build my business, I want to become successful, your brain, if it's been trained for fear, failure, distraction, and comfort, will fight against you. That's why motivation dies fast. That's why you keep starting over, because your brain is still using the same old operating system. You were taught to brush your teeth. You were taught math. You were taught how to follow rules. But you were never taught how to train your mind, the most powerful weapon you have. Think about it. Nobody taught you how to control your thoughts. Nobody taught you how to rewire your self-talk. Nobody taught you how to become mentally unbreakable. And now you're here, smart, capable, talented, but still stuck, because your mind is running on an old code. And if you don't reprogram that code, if you don't train your brain to win, you'll live your entire life under your potential, full of dreams, but empty of results. That ends today. In this video, I will give you the 9 most powerful mental weapons to rewire your brain from the inside out. Not hacks, not motivation. Weapons forged from psychology, neuroscience, obsession, and raw truth. These weapons are used by the most successful people in the world, not because they're smarter than you, but because they've trained their brain to think differently, act differently, and dominate their emotions. You're about to learn how to do the same, step by step. This isn't a video you just watch. This is a video you experience, because every second is built to change your mind and your life. And as you watch this video, you're not just training your brain, you're also improving your English by listening, learning new words, and thinking in English every step of the way. Let's begin. Weapon 1, mind override. If you don't control your thoughts, they will control your entire life. What is mind override? Mind override is the skill of consciously interrupting your automatic thoughts and replacing them with intentional, winning commands. It's how you break the mental autopilot that keeps you stuck. It's how you stop the spiral of negativity before it becomes your reality. It's how you stop being a victim of your own mind and start being the master of it. Most people never override their mind. They obey it. They believe every fearful thought. They follow every lazy urge. They let every distraction win. That's why they stay broke. That's why they stay average. That's why they live with regret. Imagine this. You wake up, your alarm goes off. Your brain says, just sleep 10 more minutes. At that moment, your day is already lost because you didn't override the command. You followed it. And your brain learns that next time it's okay to be weak. Now, imagine this happening hundreds of times a day. You're about to work, but your mind says, let's just check Instagram for a second. You're about to go to the gym, but your mind says, it's okay to skip just one day. You're about to study, but your mind says, you can do it tomorrow. And every time you follow that voice, your brain records it as a pattern. That pattern becomes your personality, and your personality becomes your destiny. Mind override begins with one powerful rule. The first thought is automatic. The second is yours. You can't always control the first thought, but you can always choose the second. When your brain says, "I can't do this," you override it with, "I will figure this out." "I'm not good enough," you override it with, "I'm still becoming who I need to be." "I'll never change," you override it with, "I'm not there yet, but I'm not staying here." This is not lying to yourself. This is training your brain to serve your future, not your fear. Let's take a real-life example. There was a boy named Brandon who wanted to become a pro athlete. Every day, he trained at 5 a.m. before school. One winter morning, the temperature dropped below freezing. He was tired, hungry, sleepy. His body was in pain. His mind screamed, "Sleep, rest, skip today. You deserve it." But he didn't argue. He didn't negotiate. He whispered one sentence: "We don't skip greatness." He got out of bed, he trained, and that moment, that override, that's the moment that changed his life. Years later, Brandon said, "That one override at 2 a.m. taught my brain that my mission comes before my mood, and that's what makes winners. They don't obey the first thought, they override it." Final truth of this weapon: you're not your thoughts. You're not your emotions. You're not your impulses. You're the commander of your mind if you choose to be. And if you want to win in life, truly win, you must master the art of mind override. Because a weak mind listens to itself, but a strong mind speaks to itself and follows orders. This is your first weapon. Master it, and your brain will never again be the enemy. Weapon 2, repetition ritual. You don't become what you do once, you become what you repeat daily. What is repetition ritual? Repetition ritual is the powerful mental weapon that transforms your brain through one of the most mysterious but proven principles of success. Greater than neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself based on what you repeat again and again and again. Yes, your brain is not fixed. It's not permanent. It is always changing based on what you do again and again and again. The problem is, most people repeat the wrong things. Negative self-talk, scrolling social media, complaining, comparing, overthinking, quitting and restarting, telling themselves, "I'll never change." And guess what? Every time they repeat it, their brain learns to believe it. Repetition is not just habit. Repetition is identity programming. What you repeat is what you become. That's why the most successful people in the world create a ritual, not a routine, a non-negotiable ritual of repetition that programs their brain to win, not lose. Your brain is made of billions of cells called neurons. These neurons communicate with each other through electrical signals. The more you repeat a thought or an action, the stronger the connection between those neurons becomes. It's like a jungle path. The more you walk it, the clearer it gets. Stop walking it, and it disappears. Now ask yourself, what have you been walking every day in your mind? A path of fear? A path of doubt? A path of laziness? If so, your brain has made that path easy to travel. That's why you default to it. But repetition can change the path. You can build new highways in your brain. Highways of courage, discipline, belief, focus, purpose. But only if you repeat them daily, relentlessly, without excuse. Motivation is a spark. Repetition is fire. Motivation is temporary. Repetition is permanent. Motivation comes from outside. Repetition comes from within. Let me make this clear. What you do on your worst day matters more than what you do on your best day, because repetition trains your brain during pain, and pain is when true rewiring happens. Anyone can be motivated for one day, but winners repeat the same actions every single day, whether they feel like it or not. That's why discipline is stronger than desire. That's why ritual is stronger than inspiration. That's why repetition is the secret weapon nobody wants to use, but everyone needs. Let me give you one of the most powerful examples in modern history. Kobe Bryant, one of the greatest basketball players to ever live. But why? Talent? Yes, he had it. But do you want to know what made him unstoppable? Repetition. Kobe had a ritual. He would wake up at 4 a.m. every morning and practice. Not just once a week, not just when he felt good. Every single day he would shoot the same shot thousands of times. He would repeat the same drills for hours. He would train longer than anyone else. His coaches once asked him, "Why do you do the same drills over and over when you've already mastered them?" Kobe replied, "Because every time I repeated, I'm not just training my body, I'm programming my brain." His brain didn't need to think. It didn't need to hesitate. When the pressure came, his body knew what to do because the ritual—
Weapon 2, repetition ritual, is how you take control of your life silently, day by day. No noise, no drama, just powerful, intentional action repeated with obsession. And one day the people around you will ask, "How did you change? What happened? How did you become so focused and fearless?" And you'll smile, because they didn't see the thousands of silent repetitions you did when no one was watching. But your brain saw it, your future felt it, and your life became it. Because you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your rituals. Train your brain through repetition, and it will start to fight for your future. This is your second mental weapon. Use it with purpose. Repeat it until your mind bends in your favor, and you'll never go back to the old you again. Weapon 3, pain conditioning. If you avoid pain, you also avoid power, because pain is the gym of the mind. What is pain conditioning? Pain conditioning is the rare mental weapon used by the few people who understand a powerful truth. Your brain does not grow from comfort. Your brain grows from controlled suffering, from facing fear, from walking into discomfort, from choosing what is difficult again and again. The word conditioning means to train a system to become stronger under pressure. And pain, emotional or physical, is the most powerful resistance tool you can use to build your mental muscles. Let me tell you the honest truth. Most people want to better life, but they don't want the pain that comes with building it. They want confidence, but avoid rejection. They want success, but avoid risk. They want discipline, but avoid discomfort. They want transformation, but avoid the breaking process. And that's why they fail, because comfort is a drug. And every time you choose comfort, you weaken your mental strength. Pain conditioning is about reversing this equation. It's about training your brain to crave challenge, to say, if it's uncomfortable, it's making me stronger. Here's the biology. When you voluntarily step into difficult things, your brain releases dopamine after the effort, not before. That means when you train yourself to do hard things, your brain learns to enjoy earning pleasure, not escaping pain. That's the real difference between winners and everyone else. Winners train their brain to feel rewarded after discipline. Average people train their brain to chase instant relief. Pain conditioning also activates parts of your brain related to emotional resilience and decision-making. When you push through discomfort, you're not just toughing it out. You are literally rewiring your brain to become emotionally stronger. Let me give you the most extreme example of pain conditioning. David Goggins, a man who went from being overweight, abused, and broken to becoming a Navy SEAL, ultra runner, world record holder, and the definition of mental toughness. But how? Not motivation, not self-love quotes. Pain. Goggins did what most people would never do. He ran on broken legs. He trained while bleeding. He pushed his body beyond what was humanly possible. And every time pain screamed at him, he screamed back, "You will not beat me today." In his book, Can't Hurt Me, He shares one moment. He was running a 100-mile race. His feet were broken, legs swollen, urine full of blood. Most people would quit, but he didn't. Why? Because he had trained his brain to see pain not as a signal to stop, but as a signal to rise. That is pain conditioning. You don't need to run 100 miles. You don't need to bleed, but you do need to become uncomfortable on purpose. Pain conditioning is built through small daily decisions. Taking a cold shower to train discomfort response. Saying no to instant pleasure to build control. Working when you're tired to push mental limits. Finishing tasks even when they're boring to build endurance. Facing what you fear to stretch your emotional resistance. Every time you walk into pain instead of running from it, your brain says, this person is becoming dangerous. This person doesn't break easily. This person is different. Now here's what most people never realize. Pain doesn't stop you. Fear of pain does. But when you train with pain, you remove the fear. You teach your brain, I can survive heartbreak. I can survive being ignored. I can survive losing. I can survive exhaustion. And I can still keep going. That belief, earned through experience, makes you mentally bulletproof. You don't grow by feeling good. You grow by facing pain with purpose. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is your personal trainer. And every time you step into it intentionally, consciously, powerfully, you become the kind of person who does not collapse, but conquers. Use pain conditioning, because comfort makes you soft, but controlled pain makes you unstoppable. Weapon 4. Identity hack. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You rise to the level of who you believe you are. What is identity hack? This is one of the most powerful weapons ever discovered. Identity hack is the act of rewriting the invisible script inside your brain that says, this is who I am. This is what I deserve. This is what's possible for me. Because every decision you make, every habit you build, every belief you hold is based on your identity, not your goals. Your identity is your mental operating system. If your identity says, I'm lazy, no productivity system will save you. I'm not smart enough. No course will fix that. I always give up. Your brain will sabotage everything. I'm not meant for success. You'll stay small no matter what you try. But when you hack that identity, when you rewrite that script, you unlock a new version of yourself, one who acts without hesitation, believes without fear, and chases goals that once felt impossible. Why most people stay stuck in old identities? Because most people don't even realize their identity is programmed. Where did it come from? Childhood criticism, failing in school, toxic relationships, society's judgment, past mistakes, words from others that were repeated until they felt true. The worst part? They start to defend their limitations. They say things like, that's just how I am. I'm not a morning person. I've always been this way. I don't have confidence. And that's not truth. That's identity trapping them in the past. There's a psychological concept called self-schema, the blueprint your brain uses to define itself. Your brain will work day and night to make sure your behavior matches your identity, even if your identity is toxic. That means, if you see yourself as weak, your brain will create weakness. If you see yourself as unworthy, your brain will reject opportunities. If you see yourself as a failure, your brain will look for ways to lose. But the opposite is also true. If you rewrite your identity, your brain will begin to build actions and beliefs around that new version of you. Muhammad Ali didn't say, I hope to be the greatest. He said, I am the greatest. I said that even before I knew I was. Ali didn't wait for the world to believe in him. He spoke his new identity out loud
over and over until his brain caught up. And once his brain believed it, his body, his discipline, his talent all followed. This is the power of an identity hack. You speak it before you become it. You act like it before you feel ready. You show up as that version of you, and reality catches up. How to use identity hack daily. Define the identity you want. Don't just say, I want to be successful. Say, I am the kind of person who finishes what I start. I am a focused, calm, and powerful human being. I don't escape life. I lead it. Repeat it out loud, morning, night, anytime you feel small. Act in alignment, even when it feels fake. Your actions don't need to be perfect. They need to match your new identity. Track your wins. Show your brain, see, this is real. Now, every repetition carves this new identity deeper into your subconscious. You will never become what you want. You will only become what you believe you are. So don't wait for permission. Don't wait for proof. Don't wait for others to approve. Create the identity that matches the future you want, and act like it already belongs to you. Because the mind doesn't follow goals. The mind follows identity. Weapon 5, dopamine shutdown. Until you break your addiction to cheap pleasure, your brain will never chase real purpose. What is dopamine shutdown? To understand this weapon, you must understand dopamine. The
Focus, study, build a business, read, think deeply. Your brain is already tired, already distracted, already addicted to easy pleasure. That's why you lose focus. That's why you feel lazy. That's why your mind races with anxiety. Because your dopamine system is broken, not by nature, but by daily habits. Why most people never escape this trap? Because dopamine addiction feels normal. It's everywhere. It's rewarded. It's marketed. You see people scrolling 7 hours a day and calling it relaxing. You see people binge-watching shows they don't even enjoy. You see people chasing likes and follows like it's oxygen. They don't realize their brain is being rewired for weakness, weak attention, weak decision-making, weak emotional control, weak motivation. The worst part? They begin to feel empty even when surrounded by entertainment. They can't enjoy silence. They can't sit still. They can't think clearly because their mind is overstimulated and undertrained. When your brain gets used to constant stimulation, the dopamine receptors become dull. That means even when something truly important happens, like starting a dream project, finishing a workout, or learning a new skill, your brain doesn't reward it. It feels boring. It feels hard. It doesn't give you the same hit as a YouTube short or a notification. This creates the modern disease of the mind, the addiction to being distracted. But when you begin dopamine shutdown, when you intentionally remove low-quality stimulation, your brain starts to heal. It starts to crave deep work, real purpose, true reward. That's when focus returns. That's when joy becomes real again. That's when your brain becomes a tool of power, not pleasure. Let's talk about someone real. There was a man, early 30s, who used to be a top student in university, sharp, focused, disciplined. But after college, life changed. He got addicted to screens. He spent 8 hours a day on social media. He couldn't read even one page of a book without checking his phone. He stopped exercising. He couldn't sit in silence for even 5 minutes. He tried everything, planners, to-do lists, motivational videos, but nothing worked. His brain was hijacked by dopamine. One day, he made a bold decision. He cut out all low dopamine activities for 30 days. No social media, no short-form videos, no junk food, no unnecessary internet, no mindless entertainment.
At first, it was torture. His brain craved stimulation like a drug addict. But after 10 days, something changed. He could sit in silence. He began to write again. He read a full book. He walked for 2 hours and thought deeply. He felt emotions again, clarity, sadness, joy, ambition, without needing to escape them. After 30 days, he said, "I got my brain back." That's the power of dopamine shutdown. How to use this weapon in real life? You don't have to give up everything, but you do have to take back control. Start with these steps. 1. Choose one high dopamine habit to remove for 7 days. Example, no social media after 6 p.m. or no short-form videos. 2. Replace it with low dopamine activities, walks in nature, journaling, reading 5 pages, silence, stretching, meaningful conversation. 3. Track how your brain feels. You'll notice more clarity, more energy, more peace. 4. Repeat and increase the challenge. Your goal is not to escape forever. Your goal is to reset your brain to feel reward from real life again. The war for your mind is a war of dopamine. The enemy is not laziness, it's overstimulation. If you want to build a powerful brain, you must train it to love deep work, slow growth, real life. You must shut down cheap pleasure to unlock true power. Weapon 6, target lock. Greater than, your mind can either wander endlessly or aim precisely, but it can't do both. Target lock is the mental weapon of extreme focus. It's the ability to lock your attention on one goal, one task, one mission, and ignore everything else. It's the opposite of modern life. Modern life wants you to multitask, switch tabs, check phones, do 5 things halfway. But target lock trains your brain to do one thing with obsession. Because obsession builds empires. This is the difference between writers who never finish a book, creators who give up in 6 weeks, entrepreneurs who keep switching ideas, versus the people who lock in so hard that the world cannot ignore them. Because distraction is not just bad, it's fatal to your dreams. Every time you switch tasks, your brain has to reload focus. This is called attention residue. It kills deep work. It destroys momentum. It creates anxiety. That's why you can be busy for 8 hours and still feel like you did nothing, because your focus was scattered. Your brain was everywhere and nowhere. Without target lock, your goals will die of exhaustion, not failure. When you focus deeply on one task, your brain enters a state called flow. In flow state, time disappears, doubt vanishes, creativity increases, memory improves, energy rises. But you can't enter flow state with a distracted brain. Target lock forces your brain into flow training. The more you focus deeply, the more your brain learns to stay there longer. And that's when extraordinary work is born. Let's talk about Mia. She was an average student, not top of the class, not a genius, but she had a dream: to build an online business that helped people learn languages. Every day, her friends watched Netflix, scrolled, laughed at memes. Mia did something different. She locked in for 2 hours a day. No phone, no tabs, no excuses. Just focused creation, content, courses, systems. At first it felt small, but after 90 days, she had built something real. After 1 year, she was making more than a doctor. After 2 years, she was teaching thousands around the world. She said, "I wasn't smarter, I was just more focused. I built while they scrolled." That is the power of target lock. How to train this weapon in your life? Choose one goal, not 5. Build the business, learn the language, get in shape, write the book. Schedule deep focus time. Start with just 30 minutes a day. No phone, no music, no talking. Use the rule, nothing else exists right now. When you sit to work, act like there's no other world except this task. Track your progress weekly. See how much your brain improves in speed, depth, and quality. Your future doesn't need more goals. It needs more focus. If you want to change your life, don't do more. Do one thing. Do it fully. Do it like your future depends on it, because it does. Weapon 7. Victory Delay Mode. Greater than, weak minds want results now. Trained minds are willing to suffer longer and win forever. Victory Delay Mode is the mental weapon of long-term vision and discipline. It is the ability to say, I will not get my reward today, but I will still show up, still suffer, still give everything, because I am not living for quick wins. I am training for permanent transformation. This weapon separates those who wish from those who win, because average people want fast progress. They want results in a week. They want success without sacrifice. And when they don't see instant victory, they quit. Winners enter victory delay mode. They train without applause, they suffer without complaining, they build in silence for weeks, months, even years, because they know real success takes time, but fake comfort destroys everything. Why most people fail without this weapon? Because we live in a 1-second world. 1-second notifications, 1-second attention span, 1-second gratification, 1-second goals, 1-second quitting. Everything around you is designed to make you impatient, to make you chase dopamine instead of results, to make you feel like if you don't succeed in a month, something is wrong. That's a lie. The truth is success is slow, and suffering is part of the price. But because most people are never taught to delay victory, they fall into mental weakness. They give up if they don't get praise. They stop if they don't get results. They quit if they don't get results. Their brain is addicted to short-term approval and allergic to long-term suffering. That's why their dreams collapse. In psychology, this is called the marshmallow test. Researchers placed a child in front of a marshmallow. They told the child, you can eat this now or wait 15 minutes and get 2. The children who waited, who practiced delayed gratification, went on to be more successful in life. They had better health, more emotional strength, better academic and professional performance. Why? Because the ability to delay pleasure.
Asked her how she kept going for 10 years with no reward, she replied, because my reward wasn't just the sale. It was the strength I built by not needing it. That is victory delay mode. How to activate this weapon in your own life. Choose a mission that's worth waiting for. Something that will change your life if you stay with it. Not just what's exciting, what's essential. Track effort, not outcome. Don't track how many likes. Track how many days you showed up. Track how many hours you practiced. Track how many times you didn't quit. Talk to yourself like this. My results are on delay, not denial. Each day I suffer in silence, I rise in power. My reward is waiting for me, and I will meet it fully prepared. Avoid short-term poison. Don't let fast comfort, scrolling, distractions, comfort food, quitting early, destroy your long-term reward. Winners aren't faster. Winners are willing to suffer longer. While others give up in frustration, you keep going. While others chase comfort, you chase mastery. While others look for applause, you build your power. And when your victory finally comes, it won't be luck. It will be earned. Activate victory delay mode, and your future will be unstoppable. Weapon 9. Self-talk rewire. The most dangerous voice in your life is the one inside your own head. Self-talk. Rewire is the weapon that transforms your internal dialogue, the way you speak to yourself, so your brain becomes your ally, not your enemy. You see, your brain listens to everything you say to yourself, and what you say, you start to believe, and what you believe, you start to live. Most people live in a mental prison, not because of what the world told them, but because of what they tell themselves every single day. I'm not good enough. I always mess things up. I can't change. I'm too behind. I'm not special. I'll never make it. And your brain obeys. It follows your voice like a soldier follows orders, even if those orders are toxic. Why most people never escape mental negativity? Because nobody teaches us how to speak to ourselves. We're taught how to talk to others, but not to the one voice we hear most, our own. This leads to subconscious mental sabotage. Even when life gets better, even when opportunities arrive, even when support shows up, if your inner voice still says you're not good enough, then your brain will find a way to fail. That's why smart people stay stuck. That's why kind people feel unworthy. That's why talented people quit. Their inner voice is attacking them more than the world ever could. Neuroscientists have proven that self-talk shapes emotional regulation, focus, decision, and confidence. The words you say in your head become your beliefs, your behavior, your habits, your reality. Your subconscious doesn't filter sarcasm. If you keep saying, "I suck," it believes it. If you keep saying, "I always fail," it builds a failure loop. But if you say, "I'm learning," it opens new possibility. If you say, "I can," the brain starts preparing to help you succeed. This is not positive thinking. This is neurological programming. Example: Daniel was a long-distance runner, but for years he always gave up halfway. His body was strong, his diet was clean, his schedule was perfect, but he kept quitting, and he didn't know why. Until one day, he sat down and listened to his self-talk. He realized he had one repeating thought every single time he felt tired. "You're not built for this. You always give up." He didn't say it out loud, but it ran silently through his head like background music. So he decided to rewire it. He created a new sentence. "I'm the kind of person who finishes, even when it hurts." He repeated it daily during runs, before sleep, in the mirror. After 90 days, something changed. He ran his first marathon and finished. He didn't stop early. He didn't panic at mile 20, because his inner voice had changed its orders, and his brain obeyed. How to use self-talk rewire. Every day, become aware of your current self-talk. Journal your repeated thoughts. Ask, "Would I speak like this to someone I love?" Create your new mental script. I finish what I start. I'm still learning, but I don't quit. Every day I repeat this, I rewire who I am. Repeat it during high-pressure moments, in the gym, while working, before a meeting, after failure. That's when the brain is listening loudest. Speak out loud, write it down, record it. Use your own voice to reshape your internal voice. Your brain becomes what it hears most. If that voice is your enemy, your brain will attack your future. If that voice becomes your coach, your brain will fight for your destiny. So, ask yourself, what voice do I want guiding my life? Because the loudest voice becomes your truth. Rewire your self-talk, or be ruled by the voice that was never yours to begin with. Weapon 9, Mental Warfare Mode. The battlefield is not your life. The battlefield is your mind. And if you don't go to war with it, you will be defeated by it. Mental warfare mode is not about thinking positive. It's not about being calm or hoping things get better. This is not softness. This is war. It is a mindset forged by brutal self-discipline, emotional control, and a refusal to be mentally broken, no matter what life throws at you. Because the truth is, life will attack you. People will betray you. Plans will collapse. Fear will whisper in your ear. Doubt will poison your progress. And your own mind, yes, your own thoughts, will try to convince you to stop, to quit, to settle. Mental warfare mode is the decision to fight back, to become so mentally sharp, so emotionally grounded, so psychologically armed that nothing breaks you, not even yourself. Because nobody told them this. Your mind is not naturally your friend. Your mind is built for survival, not success.